Hey there, Alex here. Welcome to another episode on Sweet Spot Soul. I've had a lot of people asking this question, so I thought I'd go ahead and answer it. And it has to do with what happens when I'm super balanced. I'm feeling amazing. I don't feel like I want anything. I certainly am over the twin at this time, and they're coming in, and I'm starting to feel fear kicking in. And it's just a very common, obvious thing that's going to happen when the twin does come in. And here's kind of how I'm seeing it in general. They're kicking up fear in a sense because you're really comfortable with where you are right now. You've come to know this peace within you, this equanimity within you, lack of needing and wanting and seeking, and that discomfort of being disrupted all the time. And all of a sudden, the memories kick in of the way things were. And so out of the fear of being disrupted out of that, and also get the fear-based feelings of excitement and enthusiasm and wanting to start plotting out the future, that is very dysregulating. It can be very dysregulating. And particularly if they come into your space because of what we know about the energetics, which I will be doing some more videos on, by the way, because I've been studying a lot around that and what's happening from a scientific standpoint, from basically from a, really from a genetic standpoint, from a DNA standpoint, from the energy standpoint, which is what this is all about. So yes, it's good, important things to learn. But what's happening is your body has been adjusting to higher and higher oscillating frequencies that you've been creating and generating in your own ascension journey, in your own growth, in your own learning how to see the world differently, to hold more energy, to increase your grace and the amount of love that you can hold in your body, actually in your body. And so when they come in and that complement, that perfect complement starts to rejoin that soul energy, that complete full soul energy that you haven't yet fully been able to realize on your own, is being matched and compensated for. And so it can short circuit in a way. So it's very, very important to think of a couple of things, at least I think. I think that it's important, first of all, to be graceful with yourself, to surrender into this process and know that, yes, it is going to be a little bit disrupting. You've come to a new peace in your life, a new balance in your life, probably new patterns in your life. Maybe you haven't set it up so that you're ready to have somebody come in and disrupt that, right? Maybe it's just not in your schedule. And it's so important that you do not lose your inner union, that you don't lose having you being first on your schedule, you being first all the time. So knowing that that's super important, and that stabilization and that maintaining that divine feminine status is so critical in in union, right? In a harmonious union, recognizing that maybe you didn't set up those structures. Maybe there's just this sense of, well, who is this person now? Because quite frankly, if they're not coming in as divine masculine, and they're coming in as distorted masculine with a lower energies from the lower centers, perhaps with a very strong sexual energy, they're not ready. They haven't degraded that ego enough yet to meet the queen. We're looking for a king and queen here, and this has nothing to do with gender. This has to do just with the energetics of the push and pull, which I don't really like to use a lot. I mean, it's very descriptive of what's happening, but really it's the positive and negative polarity. The negative polarity is the feminine. That's the magnetic by nature. And the positive is the electric masculine, which is more of the directive and pushing. So it's just that they get distorted. So if that masculine's coming in and he's still in a distorted energy or lower energy, or still all this drama coming in just to get his own feed and hit of you, then this is not a time. It's not time yet. So that's number one. Make sure that they're coming in as the king, okay, in a new energy. And that in and of itself can be dysregulating because they're different, right? It's not the old stories anymore. It's a whole different thing. So keeping an eye out for how they're showing up is really important. And then also recognizing and being graceful with yourself that it's going to be a new type of relating experience. Okay, totally new. And so the next piece that I want to say is how important it is to take this very, 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 very slowly. Again, you can short circuit your own electromagnetism, right? And they can also short circuit. And that is something else to take slowly, 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 because as you are taking in all of this, I mean, your body is the container for this God source energy that the two of you together are complementing and fulfilling. And that's that same big energy that made you guys tilt in the first place, right? That's what got this whole thing rolling. But once you are at that stage where you can hold that energy, you still need to kind of like sip that in, right? Like just a little sip at a time, a little bit at a time, and give lots and lots of space. So do not be afraid to say no. Do not be afraid to cut the meetings short. Just take your time. It may have taken them months, years, decades to come back around. They can wait. And your divine counterpart will come back if you maintain your balance. So your balance is key. So take your sweet time with that part of it. Now, if they come in and they are in a distorted energy, then I want you to really be careful not to, of course, don't go to bed with them if that's, the type of relating that you've had in the past. Again, take it very slow. But if they are still just not even close to there, then you just wait. You just say, you know what, when you can come in your full truth, then that'll be great. Until then, I love you. And just, we'll revisit this in the future. You hold your ground as the queen and you wait until that king shows up. That's my recommendation. Okay. And I don't know, I don't have a program for this. I basically just want to say that as you do come more and more into that balance, they will start coming in before they're ready. And that triggering is fine. If they come in and you hit a new layer of triggering within you and they take off again, perfect, no problem. They're doing their role. They're hitting up on another layer, another piece of something distorted, right? Some kind of a belief or whatever's within that needs to be alchemized, transmuted into love. Okay. And how do we do that? As I keep saying over and over, is be with the feelings, allow them to move. And then if you need to, take some deep breaths, sink yourself into the heart, into the soul, get that coherence going between the mind and the heart. And then you can always ask, show me if I'm supposed to learn something here. Is there a reason why this is happening right now? Is there something that I can see in this mirror that I need to understand? Just ask some questions, maybe even before you go to bed, and see what comes through the night. If you need to learn something in order to continue to move forward and not have that hit you again. So you are going to the mind and to the emotions a little bit, in the sense that you're allowing the emotions to move. You are getting centered into the soul part of the mind, not the ego part of the mind. And then you're able to let those thoughts that created the fear in the first place, or the trigger, or the distortion, or the trapped energy, or whatever that is, that's the piece that we're letting go of. So don't be fooled when people say this is just energy. You don't need to worry about the thoughts and all that stuff. It's your thoughts that create energy. Everything's energy. Your thoughts are energy. It's just the ego thoughts. It's the fear-based thoughts that we want to be aware of and be very present with. That's absolutely 100%. Same with emotions. Emotions are what drive what our thoughts are going to do, right? And so they're also signifying how we are positioning ourselves about the thoughts we're having. Okay. So in other words, how we're judging things. So much of this journey, as we're spiraling up and coming into an inner union, coming into that inner balance, is in degrading our ego. And our ego is based on all of the things that we decide for ourselves that are not true, all of the judgments and the, preferences, the aversions and the attractions, the highs and the lows. But we do live here in the 3D world. So I'm going to do another video also talking a bit more about this trinity of this world that we live in. We live in a dual world, but we are a soul. We're not the body or the mind. Okay. The body and the mind are part of the dual world, but we are still part of this trinity that is in moment by moment by moment creating. So we're going to talk about that in another video. Make sure you subscribe if you find this valuable, if you enjoy my content. I'm going to create a few more right now. And hopefully this will serve you deeply as that divine masculine does start to come back in. Perhaps it doesn't happen, and that's fine, because the reality is when the time is right, is when you're not going to want them to come back in anyway, or it just won't matter. It's not so much you wouldn't enjoy that, but you're not waiting for it. You're not longing for it. You're not pining for it. You actually are not even thinking of it. you're so in your beautiful space and you're so in your present and your life is flourishing and you are being that queen and you are magnetic, absolutely magnetic, that's when you know that it's time to pay attention when they come in. If they're coming in just because you got neutral for, a few days, this is a time to know that it's probably for another trigger, it's probably for another layer, it's another something that needs to be alchemized. It's okay. You can welcome that, but do not compromise with a distorted masculine. You want to make sure that you're just, you allow them to, say what they need to say, you say what you need to say. Thank you so much. When you're in your truth, that would be a beautiful time to reconsider coming back around. I love you. So anyways, I hope that this helps. Love to get your thoughts on it. And I'll see you in the next video. And if you need some help getting through some of these energies and these belief systems and so on, that's what I do. Check the box down below and you'll find a link to my a webpage that explains more about what I do. It has a video there as well to explain that. So hopefully I can work with you someday. All right. Thanks so much. Have a great one.